What is going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be explaining our project, Create My Professors. Pretty much is similar to Rate My Professor, but it takes in two different sources, one from Rate My Professor and another one from this large JSON file. And it kind of displays it into this nice visual format. So I'll demo it now if you haven't seen the demo video, but here it is. We search up our professor. It's gathering the data. So here's our professor. So we have Professor Gao of the computer science department. He was one of my old professors. So we have a rating. This is all from Rate My Professor. His rating right here. And then we also have a pie chart of his pass, fail, and drop. So as you can see, we have 800 pass, 150 fail, and then 40 drop. And then here's just a more in-depth look at his total grades. So 300 A's, 300 B's, 200 C's, 68 D's, and so forth. These are really nice visuals, especially you can do things like this. I wanted to uh, just like play around with the visuals. Really nice and very reactive visuals. I definitely commend Streamlit on that. So to actually get started trying to host a website like this, so first you'll need two files. You want a GitHub uh, and have two files. One, your main Python file, which would have all your code in, and then you also have your requirements.txt file, which just will have your dependencies in your libraries that you're using. To actually start hosting an app, so first go to streamlit.io, log in, link your GitHub, and just go to create app. I already have an app, and then from here, you already have your repos right here, or you can just paste them, paste the URL, and then yeah, that's pretty much it for Streamlit. They make it really easy. So in a couple libraries we use Plotly chart. We actually only use this for one line. What I've figured out, and then we also use Rate My Professor API, which is this is we use this API to actually scrape the data from Rate My Professor. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get into the code. So the code's about 300 lines, so it's a lot longer than uh, minus the tutor chatbot project that we did. But so first we have our dependencies and libraries that we're using. We're using Streamlit, obviously, then pandas to load a data frame from the JSON file. Uh, JSON to actually open the file. Then Rate My Professor, which is the API that we're using. And then we have Streamlit and Plotly for the charts themselves and also hosting. Uh, so first we just open the JSON file, load it into a data frame, and then we also have just some initializers and columns. Let's scroll down. So first thing we want to look at is a function to get rate my professor, rate my professor data. This is documented online, but basically you have these functions. You can look up a professor's name and look up by their school as well. This if we have an if statement that handles if the professor is not found. Otherwise, the professor is found. We get his department, um, and then we can display his results right here. If they don't have a result, then it'll just be marked as an A. This is coloring the boxes, so like green as good, yellow as middle, and then red as bad. Then we have the JSON file. So this is specifically for the bar graph. So first we get all these grades, we initialize them to 0. Uh, we parse the data, we look for a professor and DE as C. So let's take a look at the JSON file. So as you can see, there's a bunch of data on this file. So we have professor, which this is the data that we're looking for. So PROF for professor, and then we also have DESC, which is the class name. So in this case, account print one. Uh, oh, not want to do that. Okay. So we parse the data, we look for the professor that was typed in and the class, uh, or one of each, depending on what they put. But then, oh yeah, another thing about the JSON file, there's multiple, uh, the professor will be on here multiple times, just because they've taught multiple years or they've taught different classes. Uh, so basically what this is doing is adding up all the grades, depending on how many how many of that professor's name we found. So say we look up John and there's four Johns in the JSON file. We'll get all of his grades from all the years and all the classes he's taught in that file. Uh, so yeah, we load it into a data frame as part of Streamlit, and then we output the bar graph, and this is with the colors again. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we have the pie chart, which this kind of does the same thing. We could have probably put these into one function and just into instead of splitting it off, but that's for another time. But yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing, except for this isn't. This is more broad, just pass, fail, or drop. Uh, then we have our sidebar, which is this area right here, to actually get the professor's name or class from the user. So first, we also have a compare function. So if we wanted to compare two professors, so like you compare, I'll pretty much just show you a side by side of these two professors, just to guess, I guess, give you a better visual, or if you wanted to compare two professors side by side, it'll just be easier for the user. Okay, so here in this case, if I'm choosing between two professors, I got Professor Gao and the Professor Mike. It looks like Professor Mike is the obvious choice to go with. He has a lot of green. He has a lot more A's compared to any other grade and a lot bigger pass rate. So if I was choosing between these two professors, I would go with Mike. That's just the example of the compare function. But so after that, or otherwise, it'll just compare the one professor if that checkbox is not marked. And then at the end, we just have a little function to make the titles disappear. The titles being UNT, scrape my professors, the big title at the beginning. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. We have requirements with our libraries. We have a big file. We got a README in our main function, our main file, Python file. So I guess that's the end of the video, and I'll see you guys next time.